ready to rumble against Phil Harrison and Cam Tolley. It's hit with a load of power from Steve McGurn. Load of power, no control. The cue ball goes straight into the middle pocket, and you can see what he thinks about that. Looks like that was an oh my god as he turned around into his chair there. He knew he'd committed the cardinal sin.
Two reds on the left-hand side here will tell Phil and Cam to go yellows. Just one yellow to deal with, and you can deal with it first shot. In fact, it looks like it must go, or they feel like they can drop on it short side. Does this... No, it looks like Cam's thinking about playing the cannon, but I'm a little bit surprised that Phil didn't try and do that first shot with ball in hand. Maybe he didn't feel like it was going to work right, and he'd rather do it from this side. Phil just said you like the double. Cam doesn't. Yeah. No double now on for Phil, and no shot on for Phil on the yellow he's nearest to.
Every pairing that's found a way to successfully navigate the Pairs Cup Group Stage C, they've always hung their hats on their Scotch doubles frames. It always feels like such a trendsetter in how a night's going to go. And so far in these Scotch frames, Phil and Cam haven't quite got it together.
Not entirely sure what we're waiting for here. Yeah, I would suggest that they weren't on the same wavelength at the start, because Phil's so good with his cue ball that I'm surprised, because I think he would have got the cue ball right, because he's only moving it a few rolls, and he wanted the double, so I think he might have been playing on the double. Now Phil is one of the best ever when it comes to doubles, and I don't think they'd communicated that, and I think that's probably why they're in this slightly awkward situation.
I can tell you, just had a word in my ear that the arena timing system has just taken a wander, so that'll be why the referee Oryx Tesgelt has called a halt to proceedings for the time being. And there's no advantage gained in theory for Phil and Cam. That's why they're told to sit back at their chairs. They don't get unlimited match clock and shot clock time to ponder this next shot, but they do sort of get to sit in their chairs and think about it a little bit, and it's a big shot for them to find too.
Phil can tell Cam exactly what he was playing for and tell him what he wants from this. It looks like he's got just that nice turn of angle. You could screw short side here and play for yellow top left. I don't know if there's a lot of room to play for it top right if you get to the middle of the table. So it'll be interesting to see what decision they make. Do they go all the way up the table and play for it right centre? I don't know if they've got enough angle for that. I think the red above the yellow is too big. They can screw this back, or they can go forward. I don't think they can get to the above the yellow up the table, certainly not easily.
Well, that noise you just heard feels like a good sign that things might be juicing back up again. So back underway we go. Cameron Tolley has had enough time to think about this shot. Now he has to execute it.
Did play the short side position and played it well, although there's a lot of angle now on this one. What's the natural path of the cue ball? Because he's on the cushion. Is the natural path a good one? I'm going to be close to the left centre. From the angles we've got, looks like maybe just below, but does the 8 ball go bottom right? Phil came round to have a look.
And in goes the 8-ball. That's a very, very good finish from Cameron and Phil. We've really just had to figure that one out. And then, more than figure it out, was to execute it, because there were some very good shots played there at the end in particular.
Yeah, and they don't have to worry about the Scotch now for a couple of frames. They can just go about their individual work. The last two shots were excellent. Short side position from Cam, just left a slightly awkward angle, and Phil executed it perfectly. A little flick which helped. Phil's not a big cut breaker, so I can only assume he's doing this because of the 8-ball.
Yeah, he does like to... This is an 8-ball moving. He does like to mix things up, though. He can front ball break, he can cut break, he can do variants on the pair of them.
His two go-tos, though, are either the stand-up, hit it as hard as you can, or the more controlled head-down front ball. Normally it's a choice between those two. Fairly straight down the middle, just a ball or two to the side. Certainly the cut break tonight, though, and it's not gone well. Stephen probably struggled the most, I'd say, in that first match. So he's the one that really needs to settle in here.
That'll help him.
Just needs one shot to get in line. He looks like he's just off straight on this one to bottom corner. This is keep the head still, cue it in. The reward should be the frame, because the rest is just dot to dot. Just could feel that just on the way the first match went. It was just one of those. Hasn't left it really easy on the reds for Phil. Two reds nearest the left centre pocket, the biggest issues. Phil just sort of scanning the table and trying to work it out. He's a lot more comfortable at 30 a shot than he is at 15. That's not where he was trying to get to. Only assuming he was trying to get a few rolls further or lower, or both. Play the red to top left and play a little control cannon. Wonder if he's eyeing up a clever little control shot where he flicks off the red to play the yellow-red plant. High jaw is in play here with this shot. No, in the end he just tried to pot it clean. It's a great pot. One more and he's in great position. And that's not the one. Any firmer, any softer, it's frame over. Where it's landed, no good.
Not quite settled yet, has the farmer. Can be a bit hit and miss. And, oh, what a shot. What a shot that is. I'm not entirely 100% convinced he's gone to pot this, and the only reason I say that is just what he's left.
Yeah, he played the let's get the red over and leave a really awkward next shot on the yellows. It's dropped in, that's left him the really awkward next shot.
Close, really close.
Yellow still goes left centre, so this is just all there now for Stephen. Just has to hold himself together and just find his sort of best moments in the match, really, or on the night so far. That's okay, but just okay. Could have done with the yellow going another couple of rolls. I'm not sure if the high one of the two together goes. If it does, it's fine. If it doesn't, then he needs to deal with the bottom one first, which he's not on. Now, he's not playing the high one, so that would suggest it doesn't. I think if he was on the high one, you'd play it there without a doubt.
Oh, that might be disaster.
That is a disaster.
Has that little glance killed it, or is he still on the low yellow?
I don't think the low one goes. He looks happy enough, so maybe it does.
Oof.
Hit the other yellow first, but still able to make it.
Big shot to play then here. Well, what a recovery from Stephen McGurn. And goodness me, did he and his partnership need that. Excellent finish, and he gets the well done mate from Phil Harrison as well, which Stephen mentioned that in his interview. The opportunity to share the stage with a legend of the game like Phil Harrison was, you know, a big thing, and a thing they were both really excited to experience coming over from Northern Ireland to play in this tonight. And he gets to bloody the nose of the farmer as well with an excellent finish.
Phil will be disappointed. I know that wasn't the easiest counter for him. You know, a couple of problems on the table, but he's such a good player that you expected him to figure it out, and he sort of did. He just let the cue ball run a little bit too far for him, so he'll be disappointed. And he has to rely on his partner Cam if Cam gets to the table. Sheen will be hoping he doesn't, especially after that break.
Slightly different to the first one he hit tonight.
8 ball's the problem here. If you go yellows, 8 ball's got nowhere to go. If you go reds, you've got to move the 8 ball that's next to the red. First shot's not gone well. Just allowed that red to drift onto the top cushion. I think you can drop the red on the right hand side into the center pocket and just drift back along the table, ideally below the yellow. And if it stops almost level with the yellow but a couple of rolls below it, then you're on that red to top left. The cue ball and the pot are both tricky here. To perfection. I thought he'd left it tantalizingly short, but it falls in, and now he's back in shape. Still has to deal with the red at the bottom of the table, but you've got the one inside it to deal with it. Is he going to come too far down? He's going to come miles too far down. Flick off the red and leave it safe. Might think about some sort of 3-ball plant if you're playing an exhibition, but I'm sure that shot's the one right now. disappointed to have not landed. I mean, there was loads of room to land on that red. He allowed the cue ball to drift far too far down the table. Looks like he's played a good safety though, but he's allowing Cam into the frame, and if Cam can get one shot right from this snooker, which he can't, he's going to give away ball in hand, which is huge. So the excellent snooker there is going to work. I was just thinking, if Cam got a good flick there and left nothing on up the table, then Cam would take control of the frame, but not to be.
Use a bit of angle in the pocket there to widen it for the 8-ball. Well, they both said they were pleased about coming over to play Phil Harrison. They've both won a frame against his duo. And they're right in the mix here for beating the farmer and his partner. Cam Tolley didn't even get a look in there. And it's not exactly a long way back, but it's starting to sort of feel like it a little bit.
Pressure's mounting, no doubt about it. There's time, but it ticks away quickly.
Harrison and Tolley to break.
You go 5:30. You just see it in the background. They need this frame. They can do with it quickly. Okay, oh, there we go, golden break. I was just thinking, what a terrible layout, and the 8-ball flies in.
Incredible, isn't it? Just incredible. They'll be so pleased not to have to play this frame, because look at that.
I'm sure Cam was thinking the same as me, because the 8-ball was doing nothing. Watch it here. You look at it and go, well, that's not in. And then your eyes are drawn to the cluster and you think, well, that's going to be terrible for a finish. And then, thank you very much.
Yeah, we just said it there. Pressure was mounting, starting to look like a tough way back in. Well, wouldn't you know it, the golden touch from the Silver Fox, that is Cameron Tolley. So just been informed by our referee, Orange Teskill, there is a timeout currently happening just for one of the players to deal with an issue that they're having. Agreed with both sets of pairs, no harm there. See the farmer support crew has come up. That's his lad George there in the purple top. Fine player in his own right. Represented Cambridgeshire at this year's junior county team shootout, and you do see it a lot, the old nepotism in 8-ball circles. We've seen it enough in the pairs, haven't we? Plenty of father and son combinations. The issue is for George, as he's got awfully big shoes to fill.
Yeah, it's true. I wonder if there was any temptation from Phil to partner up with his son or not. Maybe in the future, I don't know. Because no doubt about it that with Cam, I know they haven't really shown it yet tonight, but with Cam, that they'll believe they can win the whole tournament. They're not thinking, anything more, anything less than that. They really will believe that, and they are, and they're absolutely right.
15-second shot clock.
Booming break from Oisin, who's back with us and is all okay.
Okay, another finish to find. I think the reds might be on here. Not sure. Just thinking about the red and yellow together, I'm wondering whether the red passes to bottom right once the other red's out of the way. In which case, there's a pattern on here. just wondering whether it would have been better to let the cue ball just float low of the yellow that he's above now, and then get rid of the one by his hand to allow the back end to connect together, or does that red just pass anyway? Does it pass the gap? These are tough decisions to make at 15 seconds a shot. Looks like he's going to play a cannon rather than playing on that ball, so maybe it doesn't go. And that is very nice. It looks like he's on the bottom one. Be very harsh if he's not on either. No, he's on the top one. Great use of the pocket. This is where I thought I was suggesting he got to on his first shot. Get on the one at the bottom of the table. Very nice. The only thing I'll say is the yellow he's just moved up the table now plays as a big blocker. Got to get it on and off the cushion and back past it. Done it. Loads of space, wanted to make sure, but come up a little bit short if he was playing for bottom right.
And that is the frame. Delayed start to that one for Oisin, but well worth the wait for him. Absolutely impeccable.
How close was that cue ball? He's very fortunate to keep that cue ball on the table. We got one of the best players in the world there, and he can't get a shot in the individual frames. So he had a sniff, didn't he, in the first one, counter clearance, and that one did not touch the table. That was fantastic.
3-2 then, McGurn and Wallace leads. And remember, loser can no longer qualify from this night. Harrison and Tolley are bang up against it. 8-ball's going to stay home this time around, but it is a much better split for Cam Tolley. A much better split. This is a dream layout for a quick counter clearance to take us to a potential 7th and deciding Scotch doubles frame. These yellows are wide, wide open.
Thought he might drop that in and play the yellow to the centre, knowing that he's guaranteed to get the cue ball out. Now he's got to just thread the needle. Oh, I played that. That was beautiful. Lovely touch. An extra 2 or 3 rolls might have been better for him, but it's still, he's on a ball down the table. Yeah, he was actually on it lovely. Yeah, that should be frame over. Get it done quickly. Give yourself as much time as possible.
Handled this clearance very, very well. 90-second Scotch doubles showdown coming up. Classy from Cam Tolley. Got the sense it was never going to be anything else. From the moment he broke off there, for a player of Cam's level, you just expected him to clear. But we shouldn't ever take a 15-second shot clock clearance like that for granted. It was very nicely done.
I remember him having a fabulous buzzer beater clearance in a seniors event a few years ago, a mini series. So he's certainly got previous when it comes to that sort of thing. But that was very composed, wasn't it? So that second, third shot that he played, the touch to use the cushion and come back out and land lovely. That was such a nice shot, played at pace, as in speed of play, not how hard he hit it. Anyway, we're down to the final deciding frame.
Cue ball again was taking a bit of a ride, and it's gonna be dry. Phil Harrison and Cam Tolley have less than 96 seconds with which to work, and they're already working.
That was a complete miss hit from Oisin. Key here, get across to the short side on the 1 by the 8 ball. Don't think it goes through the gap.
So can they get underneath it here? 50 seconds left. Oh, it stayed up.
And they've opened things up on yellows. There's a half chance here, 40 seconds. It's doable.
Big ask for these two boys. They have form for running around the table and clearing 6 balls quickly. They won 2 6-red shootouts in their qualifier to be here.
They've got to get this shot right. They need to get underneath those 2 yellows or on the 1 at the bottom of the table.
20 seconds. I don't think they're going to have the time. It's an excellent shot. They wouldn't have needed much longer if they nailed this next one. But it is going to end a draw, which is a bad result for both teams. As I say, they wouldn't have needed much longer, and they may have got the job done. But Phil Harrison and Cam Tolley offer their handshakes, and this match ends all square. This was the moment for Phil Harrison, who just got it to stick as he bids farewell to the arena. And both pairs now are right up against it in terms of qualifying. They really need results to go their way, and that starts right next with Joe Prince and Michael Hope returning to the table to take on Luke McEvoy and Dave Halliday. That match is next.